Good morning, everybody. We will wait for 2 minutes for the others to join and then we'll start, okay? So who is Ruqayya, please?
I'm Lamar.
Who is Ruqayya?
I'm using my sister's iPad. I'm Lamar.
Please, the one who entered using the name Ruqayya, change your name to your real name or I will be obliged to remove you from the meeting. Or please tell us who you are. So that
Miss, I am Lamar.
Yes, Lamar, what were you saying, Lamar?
I'm using my sister's iPad.
Okay, no problem. I just need to know who you are. I will share screen now. Okay, miss, let's start. So today we are going to start with a new grammar lesson, which is the active and passive voice. This lesson is one of the most important lessons. So we are going today to learn what do we mean by an active and a passive voice. So Verbs have two kinds, active verbs and passive verbs, or two kinds of voices, active voices and passive voices. Okay? So, the voice is the form of a verb. يعني the form that the verb takes in order to indicate whether the subject of the verb performs or receives the action. Okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just need to fix something in the internet. Just a second, okay?
Okay.
Okay, miss, I'm back. So as I said, the voice is the form a verb takes in order to indicate whether the subject, يعني the doer of the action, is a performer, يعني the doer of the action is doing the action, or is receiving the action. And there are two types of voices, the active voice and the passive voice. Let's start with the definition of the active voice. The active voice is used to show the subject of the sentence that the subject is performing or causing the action. Let's see the sentence. LeBron threw the basketball before the buzzer. So here, who is the subject in the sentence? LeBron is the subject. Okay, so who did the action here? LeBron did the action, very good. So LeBron did the action. So LeBron threw the basketball before the buzzer. So here the voice is an active voice because the one who did the action is the subject. So it's an active voice. Let's see the second sentence. LeBron shot the basketball from free throw line. Who shot the basketball? LeBron threw the basketball. Very good. So LeBron is the one who did the action, is the performer of the action. That's why LeBron here, it's an active voice. LeBron scored 3 points. So who did the action? Who is a performer of the action? LeBron threw or scored 3 points. Okay? Okay guys, so لازم نفهم شغلة إنه نحن when the subject is the performer يعني هو is the one who is doing the action, then the voice here is an active voice. Let's see what is difference between the active and the passive. يعني let's see what is a passive voice. A passive voice is used when the subject is the recipient of the action. يعني هو the one who receives the action. Let's see how. The ball was thrown by LeBron. So here the subject is LeBron, right? But he is the recipient of the action. The basketball was shot by LeBron. The score was made by LeBron. Okay? So, دايما بالpassive voice we have something called by. دايما we have something called by. So the ball was thrown by, the basketball was shot by someone, the score was made by someone. Okay? فيني أنا أقول for example, Ali opened the door. Who opened the door? Again, I'm giving you a silly example just to understand the idea. Ali opened the door. Who opened the door? Ali. يعني the door was opened by whom?
By Ali.
By Ali. Okay? The door was opened by Ali. This is the difference between the active and the passive voice. If I said, for example, the teacher explained the grammar lesson, who would change it to the passive voice?
Can you repeat the question?
If I said the teacher explained the grammar lesson, who would change it to the passive? Change it to the passive voice.
The grammar lesson was explained by the teacher.
Excellent, excellent. The grammar lesson was explained by the teacher. That's it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
that's
okay.
it. Type. If I said the cake was baked by my mom, change it to the active.
My mom baked the cake.
My mom baked the cake. Excellent. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Is everything clear?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. هلا. You might ask yourself, why is it important to use the active and the passive voice? And why is it important to change a voice from the active to the passive form? To change the active voice is more direct. يعني أنا when I say, for example, my mom baked a cake. Ali opened the door. The teacher explained the lesson. It's direct, okay? And it's just telling you about the point that you are asking about exactly, right? This is what you mean by active. It's very direct. But the passive voice is not direct, okay? It's not direct. The active is direct, the passive is not direct. So this is the difference, okay? ونحن as human beings يعني most of the times we prefer to use the active voice لأنه as I said it's direct and clear. When would you want to use the passive voice? Okay? The passive voice is used to just when you want to just admit something or telling something intentionally, okay? This is when you're using the passive voice. يعني أنا when I want to hide something, I use the passive voice. Okay, for example, I can say, the car was hit by someone. So here I am trying to hit the identity of the person, to hide the identity of the person who hit the car. So here I'm using the passive voice. So the passive voice is usually used to say the indirect things or the indirect ideas and so on, while the active voice is very straight to the point, is very direct, and is very clear. Okay? Clear, miss?
Okay. Yes.
Great. The form of the passive voice. The passive voice requires a double verb and will always consist a form of the verb to be. So, in the passive voice, دايما we are going to use the form of the verb to be. يعني, for example, we will have the cake was baked, the cake is baked, the cake, if it's plural, for example, the cakes were baked, the cakes are baked, and so on. يعني دايما we have the verb to be and the past participle. Okay, the verb to be and the past participle. This is the form of the passive voice. Look at the example. John baked the bread. John baked the bread. Okay, if I want to change this to the passive voice, the cake was baked by John, right? The cake was baked by John. This one here, the one underlined, is the passive voice verb. As you can see, we used the helping verb was and the past participle of the verb baked. Okay, so it became baked. So was is a form of the verb to be and it's used with the passive form. So we usually use the verb to be in the passive form, and the verb to be is used in order to help the past participle of the verb. Is everything clear till now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So, note that the forms of the verb to be in the examples of the verb to kick in various forms of the voice. شوفوا هون, this is very important, okay? Is kicked becomes had been kicked, was kicked, is going to be kicked, is being kicked, will be kicked, has been kicked, can be kicked, and was being kicked, should be kicked. Here, it's the form as an example. And you are going to understand these more when you start solving some exercises related to these, okay? When you start solving the exercises, you will find them much easier, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Form of the passive voice verbs. Okay. Look at the passive sentence. The cookies were eaten by the children. In the active voice, the children ate the cookies. If you see here, we used were as the verb to be, right? Why did we use were? Because children is the subject and children is plural. Eaten is the past participle of the verb eat, right? So the children ate the cookies. Children, as we said, is a plural subject. Ate, the past participle of ate is eaten. So the cookies were eaten by the children. The tunnels are dug by the gophers. Are here is a present verb, yani are dug, okay? So the active form, the gophers, dug the tunnels. So the tunnels are dug by the gophers, okay? Is it clear? I know it's a little bit confusing. I know it's a little bit difficult. It's not that easy. I know all of this, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but you will understand what do I mean when you start solving some exercises. Okay?
Miss, do you have any worksheets for this lesson?
We have exercises in the slides.
Oh, okay, because I wanted to print some. Now it's kind of hard.
Not hard. You will understand it when we directly start solving. You will understand the lesson. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay?
Okay.
So now we will stop, and I don't want you to get any more confused. Tomorrow we will start, we will continue with how to change these sentences if the sentence was in the present, if it was in the past, and so on, to the active and then to the passive. Okay? وبعدين we will learn how to solve exercises related to them. When you start solving the exercises, it will become very easy. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so you may leave now. Do not get any confused. Tomorrow we will start solving exercises and you will find that it is much easier. Thank you all.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, Miss.